Wednesday, but the Fastcast at 5 starts in 1 minute. Justin will have the latest in traffic and weather. Matt Dowell is live in Charlotte, and we have some breaking news from YouTube's headquarters. We'll show you. Stay with us.
Fox Fastcast at 5 News starts now.
The man beaten up outside his home while picking up the newspaper has died. Coming up, see how investigators are moving forward.
A solar energy rally draws concerned workers to the State House. See how two proposals could impact jobs and the economy in the state.
We're live at BB&T Ballpark in Charlotte for the Battle of the Carolinas, where the South Carolina baseball team is taking on the North Carolina baseball team. We've got that coming up.
Let's begin with some breaking news that we're following out of California right now. Police are responding to YouTube's headquarters after multiple 911 calls about a possible active shooter there. According to a YouTube employee, they first thought it was an earthquake, but as they started leaving the building, they heard someone had a gun and saw blood on the floor and the stairway. The employee says it is possible that the shooter committed suicide. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Fastcast of 5. I'm Myra Ruiz. Stick around. We have much more news to tell you about, including how Google is trying to help students get more homework done while they are riding the school bus. But Justin, as we all know, it's very hard to get things done when you're stuck in traffic at this hour, right?
Absolutely. And, we're on the front edge of rush hour here, Myra, and some of the usual trouble spots are starting to clog up. The weather's nice. That usually contributes to things as well. Let's go right to our SCDOT traffic camera. Malfunction junction. This is a good sign, Myra. Anytime this is moving, that's a good thing. And then as we take a look at the map here, we are seeing some reds just due to the fact that we're seeing increased traffic near Malfunction Junction, as well as a little bit further up the line on 26 towards Irmo. 77 looking pretty good at the moment. Things looking pretty good as you head down towards Orangeburg, and a little bit of traffic in downtown Lexington. Myra, we're going to take a look at weather and traffic coming up later in the show.
Justin, thank you. Right now, Lexington County authorities are not answering questions about the death of a man who was beaten outside his home. That attack happened on March 23rd. He died last night. Our Michelle Zhu joining us live from the Lexington County Sheriff's Office. Michelle, what's the latest?
Well, Myra, those autopsy reports are scheduled to be released later this week, as well as the identity of the man. And what we do know now is that the 68-year-old man was brutally beaten right outside his home later last month. And the injuries were determined to be a result of an assault. And we're told that he was simply going about his daily routine to pick up the morning newspaper. And the Lexington County coroner says he died at the hospital last night, just more than a week after the attack. That attack happening in the Cobbs Hill subdivision in Lexington, which authorities say is generally regarded as a safe neighborhood. And right now, investigators are still looking for answers into who did this and why, and neighbors want answers too.
They have to find him because other people are not safe, Who knows? Maybe he's looking for another one.
Now, authorities tell us they never got a chance to speak with the victim about what happened, so that makes community tips even more valuable. If anyone saw or heard anything in this area on March 23rd, call Crime Stoppers or the Lexington County Sheriff immediately, and we'll update you with the latest as soon as those autopsy reports come out. Live in Lexington, Michelle Zhu, Watch Fox News.
Michelle, thank you. Right now, Sumter County Coroner's Office is working to identify skeletal remains that were found by children. The remains were found last month off Gaines Road in Sumter, and investigators say they believe the deceased is a white man between 55 to 60 years old. The coroner's office is holding off making an announcement pending the results of a DNA test. Well, at the State House, several lawmakers and solar energy employees gathered to campaign for expanding South Carolina's solar energy. Our Jamal Goss joins us with that story. Jamal?
Well, Myra, lawmakers are debating several bills that could move the state forward when it comes to solar energy. Supporters at today's rally say they are worried how those bills could impact the growing number of thousands of solar jobs in the state. Right now, that industry employing more than 28,000 people in South Carolina. Now, some fear one of the bills could make it more expensive for homeowners to invest in solar panels. And the other bill would keep costs down with the goal of boosting the state's solar energy industry.
From an economic development standpoint, from a job retention, from recruitment of corporate customers, we're seeing large corporate entities have a corporate requirement to purchase renewable energy as part of their mandate. South Carolina simply doesn't have enough of it to supply to them. Eventually, that's going to hurt our economic competitiveness in bringing in large corporations that do provide thousands of jobs if we don't have a strong energy infrastructure for them to have.
Now, coming up tonight at 10, hear from one veteran working in the solar energy industry that believes South Carolina could attract more veterans with solar jobs. At the State House, Jamal Goss, Watch Fox News.
Jamal, thank you. And that leads us to today's Sound Off. Would you use solar power in your home? We wanted to know what you thought. Stick around to hear what some of you had to say in the Fastcast Sound Off. And you can also download the Watchbox app and go to the Features tab and look for See It, Send It to upload your own video. You'll also be able to get the latest news and weather updates. All new this evening, the Public Service Commission meeting on whether or not to raise water rates. It's a discussion they've been having, and it would affect customers of Carolina Water Services. The meeting started at 10:30 this morning, and commissioners are expected to begin discussions again tomorrow. Well, state transportation officials are giving us a better idea of when some area road projects will wrap up. The SCDOT telling us that they started widening Interstates 20 and 77 back in 2016. Work on Interstate 77 is expected to finish soon. No major delays there despite a couple of hurricanes, but officials say I-20's completion date has been delayed from 2019 to 2020. The SCDOT says this stems from having to change the construction method along the 11-mile, $99 million Lexington County project. Well, in just 4 days to go, about 40,000 people will be running across the Ravenel Bridge, and a physical therapist is helping folks get ready for the race. First of all, she says, be prepared. Make sure you are hydrated. Also, arrive at the location early so you don't have to worry about the crowds or missing the start of the race. And don't forget to stretch. Well, tomorrow marks opening day for the 2018 recreational season on Lake Murray, the boat launch area on the Irmo side of the dam, and the beach on the recreation area on Lexington side will remain open through Friday, September 7th. Fees at both parks are $2 for motorcycles, $3 for cars or trucks, and $5 per passenger vans. You can also buy season passes for $45 per vehicle. Well, Google is programming school buses with Wi-Fi so that students can get their homework done during those long commutes. 16 extra school districts in 12 different states will get the Wi-Fi school buses, and Berkeley County here in South Carolina is on that list. Now, there will be policies for onboard access. Don't worry, Mom and Dad. They will limit kids' access to some of the sites so that they can stick to class-related sites, and there will also be a block on social media. Google selected these schools based on median household income and the length of student bus rides. A 15-year-old baseball player is doing a lot more than catching pitches. He has also caught the attention of some major league players. We'll show you why.
In our current paradise, with temperatures in the 80s, won't last for much longer, but check them out while they last. We'll talk about the low to upper 80s across our forecast area. We'll talk changes right after the break.
And coming up in sports, I'm live from BB&T Ballpark in Charlotte for the Battle of the Carolinas, where the South Carolina baseball team is getting ready to take on North Carolina. That's coming up after the break.
Welcome back to Fastcast at 5. I'm Skywards meteorologist Justin Keir. Changes in the air. In fact, as we take a look at the satellite radar combination, change is headed towards South Carolina. That'll be arriving tonight, going into tomorrow in the form of clouds and eventually rain showers and perhaps even a few rumbles of thunder. But right now we're in paradise, folks. It feels much more like May than early April. You can see locations in the upper 80s. For example, Lexington, you guys are currently at 87 degrees, which means that you are a little bit warmer than yesterday. In fact, some locations 4 degrees warmer compared to yesterday, which was also a warm day. Winds kicking up a little bit between about 10 to 20 miles per hour, especially in the eastern Midlands. And in terms of our rainfall timeline, we anticipate that's going to be starting between 7 o'clock in the morning and finally exiting our forecast area by about 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. A few thunderstorms mixed in there with temperatures much cooler tomorrow than today. We'll talk about your full 7-day forecast coming up later in the show.
Justin, thank you. Well, get ready for another installment in the Battle of the Carolinas. Our Matt Dowell is live in Charlotte, where the Gamecocks are getting ready to take on the Tar Heels. Hi there, Matt.
Hey, Myra, I'm at one of the most beautiful ballparks in the world, in my opinion. BB&T Ballpark right here in downtown Charlotte for the much-anticipated Battle of the Carolinas. It's always a fun time between South Carolina and North Carolina, and they're both on a bit of a win streak. South Carolina has won their last 4 games, as have the Tar Heels. Tar Heels, though, not as good as they were last year so far. They're 18-10 overall on the season, and they did get the win, though, last year over South Carolina. So the Gamecocks have a little bit of a revenge motivation tonight. This one getting started in a couple of hours. They're warming up right now behind me. Also in the baseball world, it's the Fireflies. Their new season is starting in just 2 days. Hard to believe. No Tim Tebow this year. Tebow Mania is over for us in Columbia, but they are getting a new addition. Pedro Lopez is their new manager, coming from the Mets AAA team, the Las Vegas 51s, and he said even though he is in Columbia with a single A team now, he's not going to treat his players any different.
Now, it's up to me and my staff just to make sure that we teach these guys how it's done. And just like I told them yesterday, the treatment's not going to be any different the way I treated guys last year in AAA, and because I want them to learn how it is.
Hard to believe the Firefly season is already ready to go, and we are just a couple of hours away from South Carolina versus North Carolina here in Charlotte. But Myra, the year is going by so fast. It's beautiful out. Baseball season is well underway.
Matt, thank you. And speaking of baseball, a teenage player in Tennessee is getting a lot of attention after video of him on Twitter went viral recently. 15-year-old Luke Terry plays the game with only his left arm. His right arm was amputated when he was a baby, and this video has caught the attention of major league legends, including Chipper Jones and Deion Sanders. Terry also works as an umpire for the Youth Baseball League. Good for him. That's great. Well, firefighters are heroes because instead of running away from problems, they run straight into them. We will show you a rescue that required some extra attention and TLC. Stick with us, please. Body cam video to show you of an incident between a jaywalker and Asheville police. Take a look at this. It is from the arrest of Johnny Rush last August from Officer Luis Delgado, who arrived at the scene after the confrontation had already started. Police had just busted Rush for jaywalking and eventually used a taser on him. Former officer Christopher Hickman was detaining Rush after he defied officers' commands and tried to run away. Hickman now faces assault charges for hitting Rush in the head. Hickman was immediately suspended and he later resigned from the department. Caught on camera, some dramatic footage of a train and a truck colliding. Take a look at what was caught on cell phone video. The tractor trailer is stuck right there on the railroad tracks, and the safety rail, as you can see right there, is stuck on the top of the truck's bed. It slammed. Wow. And that was just moments before the driver of the truck was able to get out. You could hear him speaking, screaming just before that collision. Now, the Norfolk Southern train slammed into that train, which again was stuck on the tracks. Again, we are told that the driver is okay. Wow. Hard to look at. Well, a cat in Florida saving one of its 9 lives for another day thanks to a firefighter. This was a cat in West Palm Beach, rescued from a burning house. The cat, named Cupcake, needed some extra care. After coming out of that home, firefighters could be seen administering oxygen and feeding it water by hand. There were 3 people in the home who have been displaced. Investigators are still trying to figure out what happened, but look at this. They're taking such good care of that little kitty. Wow. And people wonder why firefighters are hot stuff. No need to wonder. Just take a look at that. And look at this site. This is in Tennessee, honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Big River Crossing displaying a dynamic light show commemorating the 50th anniversary of Reverend Martin Luther King's assassination in Memphis. The 15-minute dynamic light shows will take place every hour on the hour after sundown until 10 p.m. tomorrow. And meantime, we're going to take a look outside to see what's happening there. Justin, what's happening at Malfunction Junction?
Well, Myra, almost right on cue. Things are starting to slow down a little bit. In fact, as we take a look at our SCDOT traffic camera, you can see folks starting to line up here. Not surprising, and unfortunately, it looks like it's going a ways back towards downtown Columbia. So if you're leaving downtown Columbia, headed back towards Irmo or perhaps even the northeast, expect some delays. But in terms of our traffic map, just the usual trouble spots. Downtown Lexington, Malfunction Junction, Lexington Medical Center, as well as 77 in the northeast, beginning to slow down, and that's just due to routine traffic for this time of the afternoon. We'll talk about your full 7-day forecast coming up later in the show.
And we have some breaking news. Again, we are looking outside YouTube's headquarters in California. We are told that 4 to 5 people have been taken to the hospital after what is believed to be an active shooter incident, again, at these headquarters. Now, we did hear from some employees who were leaving the building. They said they could see some blood in the hallways, in the stairwell as well. They thought it was an earthquake possibly, but then they heard that there might be an active shooter out there. Again, the latest is that we're learning 4 or 5 people have been taken to the hospital from YouTube's headquarters in California. We will continue to keep you updated on the details as they become available. And we've been talking a lot about the opulence of the royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, but here's a departure. Take a look at this engagement ring. No sparkle on this one, but we'll tell you who gave it and why. Channing Tatum breaking the internet overnight, and it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger will be back. Krogan with Q93.5 has these stories and more.
Arnold Schwarzenegger had open heart surgery late last week, and we're happy to report this morning, Myra, he is back. The Governor had a catheter valve replaced, and he had a few minor complications that caused doctors to go into emergency open heart surgery. It lasted several hours, but after the tweet from Arnie this morning, we know he says, "It's true, I'm back. I went to sleep expecting to wake up with a small incision, and instead woke up with a big one." He is happy and healthy this morning. Still no word on whether he said, "I'll be back," before heading into surgery. Back at your box office this month, over 41 either sequels, prequels, or remakes. It's a busy month for April with everything from Super Troopers 2, a Transformers spinoff, a new Mary Poppins movie, Deadpool 2, even that next installment of the animated Incredibles. It's been nearly 15 years in the making. It has a lot of people wondering, with 41, again, remakes, sequels, or prequels, has Hollywood lost its creativity? We'll let you decide, but from the land of Hollywood to Splitsville, the internet this morning, Myra, shook at the news that Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan calling it quits. The couple have decided to lovingly separate after almost 9 years of marriage. They're both 37. They have a daughter named Everly. She'll be 5 next month. In the joint statement, they claim nothing has changed about how they love one another, but love is a beautiful adventure that's taken them on different paths. Channing and Jenna met on the set of Step Up back in 2006, got married in 2009, and unfortunately the internet just interested in the fact that they may still have a chance with Magic Mike.
Rumors are flying that it might be the end of a very long era for fashion and publishing. Anna Wintour may be out as artistic director at Condé Nast and Vogue. Condé denying that one of the most powerful forces in the fashion industry is leaving, but rumors also indicate Vogue UK editor Edward Enninful will take over as editor of US Vogue. The 68-year-old Wintour becoming editor-in-chief for Vogue back in 1988, earning the title as artistic director of Condé Nast in 2013. The news coming as Condé struggles after closing the print edition of Teen, Vogue, Self, and Details magazines. Well, a piece of butcher's twine over a diamond? That is what 43-year-old former Ace of Cake star chef Duff Goldman used to propose to his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jonna Colbury. Take a look at this. You know, he shared this on Instagram, said he was shaving his head when he felt like he was kicked in the heart and realized that he was absolutely in love with his girlfriend and wanted to propose. Now, I'm thinking maybe he felt he may have been stringing her along and thus using the butcher's twine for that ring. Brian McConkey, however, said that he just wanted to tie the knot. As you can kind of see in the picture, there is a cute little knot there. The proposal is what he used to propose. Apparently, she didn't mind that he used this butcher's twine because the girlfriend said yes. So isn't that nice? You don't always need a sparkly diamond. It depends on what, to each his own or her own, I guess. And I guess that worked. But we also wanted to know about what you thought about solar energy and if you would use that in your home. Stick around for the Fastcast Sound Off to hear what some of you had to say. As an alternative to electricity, here's what some of you had to say.
They're a good deal. If you own your property, you can either buy them. I think there's maybe a rebate. Any excess power, you may get a check wrote to you, if I'm right.
Solar panel, and from my ROI, it took me about 7 years, but after that, it cut my bill down tremendously.
Yes, I would, because it saves on the light bill and it saves me money. So yes, of course I would. Who wouldn't, right?
I definitely would. I feel like diversifying a means of getting energy to as many people as possible would be a good thing in the long run.
And the 7-day forecast showing the 80s are a thing of the past starting tomorrow with rain showers arriving early tomorrow morning.
Wow. So paradise was here for a short amount of time.
Fleeting paradise, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. See you at 10.